member of the most powerful clique in school.
Dear Diary, Heather said she teaches people real life.
You were nothing before you met me. You were a Girl Scout cookie.
Does it not bother you that everybody in this school thinks that you're Verona? Like I give a shit.
Heather number one just looked right at me. You a Heather?
No, I'm a Veronica. I don't really like my friends.
I don't really like your friends either.
They're people I work with, and our job is being popular.
Maybe it's time to take a vacation.
I just killed my best friend.
And your worst enemy.
Same difference. My teen angst has a body count. This is a tragic thing.
Hallelujah.
We scare people into not being assholes. What did you say, dickhead?
I did not want them dead.
You did too.
Did not. Shut up.
I love my dead gay son.
You were out of control. That life is filthy.
What do you think I'm gonna do with it? Take out her tonsils? Is this as good for you as it is for me?
Life can suck.
That's it. We're breaking up.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to the show, everybody.
I love this movie. I'm excited to talk about it.
I do too. I really love this movie.
Mhm.
I have a long, long history
Same.
with it. Oh man, I love Heathers. Well, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between, listeners, my name is Pete,
And I'm Scott, and these are the movies that made us gay.
Yay. Yeah.
So yeah, we got to our Heathers episode.
Yes,
we
indeed.
watched
We got to
Heathers,
Heathers.
released March 31st, 1989,
Yes.
directed by Michael Lyman, written by Daniel Waters, with friend of the pod, Goldyn Gunville.
Yay! Welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome.
So you reached out wanting to do Heathers, which is perfect because I feel like this has always been on the long list, and we just
Yes.
hadn't found a guest to do it with. So we're excited to talk about Heathers with you.
Awesome. Me too. This has been a long time coming, as I'm sure you know, but this is like one of my favorite movies of all time. So if anybody asks me like an all-time favorite list, this is always on there.
Yeah. Good.
I feel like it's a movie that is one of my favorite movies, but I tend to forget about it, and then I'll revisit it and just be like, fuck, man, Heathers is great.
I mean, I don't think there's any other movie that I find so quotable other than maybe Mean Girls now.
Oh,
Right,
yeah.
Right. I was just thinking as we were talking about that right now. I was like, yeah, I think I can pretty much quote this entire movie. Like when it's on, as I'm watching it, I know every line.
Its lines are so sharp.
Every beat. Yeah. Yeah, the script is solid.
Yeah. Daniel Waters. He wrote this movie as sort of a response to the popular wave of John Hughes teen movies of the 80s, and he wanted to do something to kind of be the polar opposite of those movies. Waters intended Heathers to be a contrast of all of that. And, yeah, we got Heathers. He wanted just sort of the cynical depiction of the American teenager with this, like, biting satire.
Sure.
And I think it's funny that when he's interviewed about writing this movie, he said he always wanted Stanley Kubrick to direct it, which is so wild, which I love that he just had the confidence at that age of, I'm going to write a teen movie and Stanley Kubrick is going to be the man to do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's ambition right there.
I
But
would
hey, shoot for the stars.
Yeah, I know,
Why
right?
not?
But
Why
they ended
not?
up landing on Michael Lyman, and Michael Lyman, if you're at all familiar with him, he's done a lot of TV. He did a lot of episodes of The Comeback. I think that he did some Arrested Development, but any major TV show, comedy, Michael Lyman probably has directed a few episodes of it.
Okay. Very cool. I feel like this movie is so stylized, you know, like for, you know, when it came out in the 80s, I was a kid and I was just like, wow, it wasn't like anything I'd seen. And like you said, it's kind of a response to those John Hughes movies, which I also loved,
Same.
you know, and ate up all of them. But it's very much this like dark-sided version of those. And it was like, if you were cool, you knew about Heathers. Like, not like just the everyday, like dumb popular kids liked it, like they did 16 Candles and Pretty in Pink. This was like the edgy dark kids. And it was Winona Ryder who was like our, you know,
hot off Beetlejuice.
Our queen.
They were releasing Beetlejuice as they were making the movie too.
Yeah. Which is crazy because to me, I feel like in Beetlejuice, she reads so much younger.
Yeah, she does. Actually, she does.
Right. Yeah. As a kid watching her, I just thought that she, you know, I'm a couple of years younger than her. And when you're a kid, anybody that's older, teenagers, especially teenagers on TV and in movies, always just seem like grown-ups. So to me, it was like, oh, it's Winona. She's just like this teenager. But now as an adult looking back, I watch Beetlejuice and I'm like, that is a child. She looks so like just a small little girl. And in this, one of the things that always struck me about Heathers was just how mature, how grown up, and as a kid especially, how grown up these characters acted or tried to act. You know, like they're putting on this show for each other.
It's the hair and the shoulder pads.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, also that.
So, what is your background with Heathers? Do you remember when you first saw it?
Yes, I do. I was like 7 or 8 when it came out on video. And I remember going to like my local video store and renting it. And, you know, obviously no 7 or 8-year-old has no business watching this film, but I was kind of twisted kid, still a twisted adult.
Yeah.
And I just loved it from the second, like I just knew I was going to love it because obviously like, you know, it's very a girly fashion movie as well.
Yeah.
And that totally appeals to me.
Yes.
And it's that type of brilliant costume designing that this was not really how young kids dress.
No.
But it's an idea of that. And I love that they were just coming out of the 80s. So this costume designer, I'll have to look up the name. I can't remember. But she knew to just exaggerate it. This is going to be one day a memory and an artifact of the 80s. And you just kind of remember things a lot bigger. And that's how all of these girls dress, is that they're all wearing these beautiful coats,
blazers,
big hair,
blazers to high school,
patchwork blazers to high school. I love it.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you guys watch Drag Race at all?
Of
Yes,
course.
we love it.
I loved Gigi Good's.
Yes, she did a Heathers runway.
Yes, she did.
Did she do a Veronica look or did she do? I can't remember.
It was
what
kind
look
of a
it
combination of them because
It's
she
kind
was
of
wearing
a
red,
of
wasn't
stuff.
she?
I think she was wearing red. Okay.
She was doing more like Heather Chandler / Shannon Doherty.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I do remember really enjoying that. And of course, Drag Race fans will know Heather from
Heather, I want to know.
the early seasons, the Heathers of season 3. We'll talk about that a little bit more in depth. I talk about my older sister a lot, who really kind of influenced my taste in music and movies, all of that
The
stuff.
taste maker of the
She was
family.
the taste maker of the family, of the household. And she's about a year younger than Winona, and she really liked this movie. She loved Christian Slater. He was her.
He was a dreamy guy.
Boyfriend. Like the Young Guns, like all of that, right? And so when this one came out, she was like obsessed. And so I watched it with her, you know, when we would rent it. And again, I was way too young to be watching it. And just these lines, you know, fuck me gently with a chainsaw, and did you eat a brain tumor for breakfast? All of this stuff. If you wanna fuck with eagles, you got to learn to fly. And I'm just like soaking it all in, right? And just
gasping
and memorizing these lines and like quoting them at school. And nobody in like St. Stephen's like 5th grade knows what the hell I'm talking about. Yapping all over the place about fucking with the eagles and learning to fly, and you know, Swatch jocks and Diet Coke heads and all of that. But I'm just like absorbing every bit of it. And to a kid, I feel like what you're saying about the costume design, they did something really smart in that, you know, they assigned everybody colors.
Yes.
And, you know, the the lighting was very artistic and theatrical. You know, they would do like these blue gels at night, you know, and just make the cafeteria
The
look
sunlight
so
coming into the
dreamy.
windows of the school looks very
Yeah.
dreamlike. Also, early Thomas Newman score.
The
He hadn't
score
done a lot of
is so
movies
dreamy,
before
yeah.
this. And we were mentioning the costume designer, and I looked him up, Rudy Dillon.
Okay. Very cool. And what about you? When did you first see this?
So
movie, Scott?
I remember, I don't think I really discovered Heathers until I was around 13 because
Sure.
I love the movie Jawbreaker. And I remember on the video box of Jawbreaker, there was a poll quote from Rolling Stone, Peter Travers, saying, the best teen movie since Heathers.
Right.
And I just
Right.
remember kind of thinking like, okay, I'm going to have to look up Heathers. So I remember looking it up. Huge Winona Ryder fan from Edward Scissorhands and Beetlejuice and Little Women. So I tracked it down, and I don't think that I rented it until I worked at the video store in my small town. And it's one of those things that I'm a little younger than you guys. I grew up and went to school in sort of the Columbine. Columbine had just happened.
Yes.
When I was in high school. So seeing a lot of this when I rented it was very shocking.
Yeah.
Because it was also a time coming out of the late 90s where you started to see dumbed down movies for that very reason, with language and violence, and especially a movie that's a satire on teenage suicide.
Yeah.
I just remember just being shocked by it. And I didn't really know what to think of it. I knew that I liked it, but I couldn't really describe why the movie just made me so uneasy. But
Right.
I later rediscovered it in college. I rented it from our campus library, and then I rewatched it again, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. Like,
Yeah.
now I understand this movie, and I love it.
Yeah. What did you think, Goldyn, about the comparisons when Jawbreaker was released?
I could see why they were made. I mean, obviously, I love Jawbreaker too, but it is no Heathers.
Agreed.
You know, I mean, and actually was a big, huge. At the time it came out, I was an obsessive Rose McGowan fan.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah.
We've talked
So, like-
about her a lot on the show.
And like, you know, after watching movies like, when I first saw her in the Doom Generation.
Yes, me too. That was my intro to Rose.
Yes. So that's ever since then, I was obsessed with her.
Yeah. And yeah, I agree. Much like you, when Jawbreaker came out, I saw the comparisons, and just in my head, it was just something where I was like, it can't be as good. It's not going to be as good. And then I rented it, and I was like, that was fun. But and I see the superficial relationship in comparison, but at the end of the day, they're very different. I feel like Jawbreaker is even more tongue in cheek.
It's even kookier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot. It's definitely camp-y, for sure.
Yeah. And yeah, I remember again going back to Christian Slater a little bit. I feel like that was really what reeled in my sister and what kind of got her to watch it and love it. And I think that she was like affected by the mean girlness of like the Heathers and Veronica being a little bit, you know, Veronica being more.
She was the cool outsider of the group that was included.
Introspective, you know, she was a writer, all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, I feel like my sister really, what she took away from it was, you know, Christian Slater's a dreamboat.
Nothing wrong with that.
Me, I'm watching it and I'm just seeing like, okay, we get to see like shirtless boys running around in tidy whities. You know, the camp of it all. I love my dead gay son, like all this stuff, and that's kind of what really stuck with me, I guess. I don't feel like at the time I was much affected by I wasn't offended by all the kind of. I mean, I guess it's not homophobia because Daniel Waters wrote it.
It's written by a gay man.
Yeah. But there is a lot of casual, faggotry and fag this and all of that.
And it's kind of just a comment on bullying in general, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I never felt offended by it, and I still don't.
Yeah.
Just because that was such a snapshot of the time period that it was in.
I think it's kind of a low blow when you watch The Celluloid Closet. They do include I like to suck big dicks in their homophobic montage, which if that's what you're taking away from the scene, you're completely missing the point of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, because JD, that's kind of one of the things that really pushes him over the edge with those two in particular is, I mean, yeah, they come for him at the beginning and they do ask him about his boyfriend and no fags allowed and all that. But when he sees them treating the other boys like that, I think, not that he's, you know, this like crusader or hero or anything, because he is definitely the villain of this movie. But
He's the villain, but in a very gray area.
But he was also evolved enough to know that, you know, he wasn't going to let homophobia like affect him.
Yeah.
The way, you know, like he was standing up for the underdogs.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like, to me, the scariest character in this movie, especially when I was a kid, is JD's dad.
Yes.
I was always so creeped out.
Yeah.
And the power dynamic with all of the parents in this movie, that the kids are the grown-ups and the grown-ups are the kids are the parents and the parents are the kids. And it's that sort of fucked up dynamic.
I mean, I loved Winona Ryder's character's father.
Yes.
You know, and the mother, like, oh, you too, you know, like.
Yes.
I
feel like Veronica's parents are played more for laughs, and it kind of sets up this dynamic of like, yeah. But then with Christian Slater's dad, with JD's dad, it's creepy.
It's very sinister.
Yeah, it's very sinister. Exactly. I mean, I guess the idea was that Heather was a very popular name around a certain time frame.
I didn't go to school with a lot of Heathers. I went to school with a lot of Ashleys.
Okay, I went to school with a lot of Jessicas. You could not throw a stick without hitting 2 or 3 Jessicas in my school.
And it's suiting that when I was a kid, the show Recess was on, and the Heathers characters on Recess are called the Ashleys.
They are called the Ashleys.
Yep.
You're absolutely right. But but this was like the seed of his idea, right, Daniel Waters? It was just this popular name, and these are the popular girls.
Super clever.
Heather Duke, Heather Chandler, and Heather McNamara. And then Veronica is part of the clique, but her name's Veronica. And she's got dark hair.
Yes.
So she's like automatically the outsider.
I think I was reading that they wanted to dye Shannon Doherty's hair blonde, but Shannon was like, oh no, you're not dyeing this Raven Beauty blonde.
Is Shannon younger than Winona?
They're probably roughly around the same age.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest,
Yeah.
but yeah, they have to be around the same age.
But because I feel like one of the things with Shannon Doherty was that I think she was one of the more established actors.
She'd been working since she was a small child.
But at the same time, wasn't she also like a little bit more like demure about the language in the script? I think she was a little bit more weirded out about saying things, and they had to like...
Maybe they softened the edges for her, because she really didn't get the tough lines like Heather Chandler and Veronica.
Yes. I mean, the biggest thing that Shannon says is like, why are you pulling my dick? Which I loved. As a kid, when she said that, I was just like, that is so fucking cool.
Yeah, it's pretty genius.
But I also kind of can see Shannon, even at like 16 or 17, being like, you are not touching this hair.
Yeah.
Just be like having...
That is a brunette complexion.
Power dynamic rules. But I love how the croquet is just this running theme throughout this movie, right?
It's their power dynamic.
Yes.
This is the croquet games.
And, so we watched it just to get a little, just a refresher, to have it fresh in our head. And it's so funny because the very opening scene over the opening credits with Que Sera Sera playing in the background, and it's just this dreamy scene, and they're playing croquet in their like fabulous outfits. And all of the Heathers are walking in a row, and they step over a hedge and onto these flowers, a flower bed, and they crush all the flowers. And I'm just thinking, well, that's rude. Whose backyard is this? They just crush all the flowers? And I was like, oh, yeah, it's a dream. It's Veronica's dream.
They're destroying something beautiful.
Yes. But this establishes their color scheme. Heather Chandler, I believe, is the head Heather.
Yes, the red Heather.
Yes.
And she's red.
She's always red. Mm-hmm. She's got her scrunchies, her croquet ball, everything. I love the idea of the lunchtime poll. Now, is this for the newspaper, or is this just something that they're doing to show dominance?
Who knows? I mean, it's really never clear, but I like the ambiguity of
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You don't know why it's happening. You don't know what it's for, but it's happening. It's a thing that everybody knows about.
I love the character introduction of Heather, too.
Yes. Well, it's set up so early in the movie that Veronica is just like put out by hanging out with her friends, and all 4 of them are just like, ugh.
Hello, Heather.
Veronica, finally. I got a note at Kurt Kelly's. I need you to forge a hot and horny but realistically low-key note in Kurt's handwriting, and we'll slip it onto Martha Dumptruck's lunch tray.
Shit, Heather, I don't have anything against Martha Dunstock.
You don't have anything for her either. Come on, it'll be very. The note will give her shower nozzle masturbation material for weeks.
Think about it.
Don't think.
Poor Heather Dunstock.
Aw.
Not Heather Dunstock. Martha Dunstock.
Martha.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor Martha.
But just that razor sharp dialogue. It'll be
Yes.
very.
Yeah, and things like very and all that's not anything anybody said. I'm sure he just made all this up. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I tried to bring it into the public. Never quite caught on.
I had a few attempts, failed, of course, as well.
Yeah, again, me in like my Catholic elementary school trying to say things are very, no one cared. They're like, the only thing that's very is you are very gay right now.
That or it's like it was like, stop trying to make fetch happen. It's never going to happen. Very did not happen.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely right. Yeah, this cafeteria scene, there's a lot going on, but it kind of sets up everything really beautifully. Like it sets up their dynamic with the other students, and there's the first group that they go to do the lunchtime poll. Which, Scott, do you want to give us the lunchtime poll question from the very beginning of the movie?
Oh, I forget how Heather Chandler frames it.
Do you remember?
Do you remember how she first says it? That big guy comes over to give you the big. You've won the publishing clearinghouse, and they come over to big you the big check. The day that you're supposed to get the money, aliens come to the world and say that they're going to blow up the world in 3 days.
What do you do with the money?
What do you do with the money?
I find it interesting that they never said Ed McMahon.
I'm trying to think. He was doing the publisher clearinghouse thing, right?
Yeah, she says a couple of things. She says Big Ed, and she says that big guy.
Oh.
But they never say Ed McMahon. I thought that was funny.
And I love how it's just watered down to Veronica, that she's just like, you inherited $3 million, and then aliens come to Earth and say that they're going to blow it up. But like by the time it's gotten to Heather, she's just clearly over it, and this is how she's shortened.
Veronica shortens it even more
the poll.
than that.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say was the first table she goes to give the poll. It's the kind of like even more affluent kids, like the one guy says that his father's like a broker.
They're one kind of ladder down from the Heathers in the social hierarchy of the school.
But you could tell they're still super popular and like super rich and all that. And even they hate Heather.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, fuck, here comes Heather.
Well, I mean, we all have like a friend or a frenemy or a coworker or a colleague like a Heather.
Yeah.
That, she wields her power,
yeah.
Around and she oftentimes makes like things difficult for you.
You hate them, but you also want their approval for some fucked up reason. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because the girl who says like, Heather's like, oh, I love your cardigan. And she's like, oh, I just got it at the Limited. I blew my allowance. But she's still like, even though she hates Heather and they were all like made a face, she says she would give all the money to charity.
Mm-hmm.
Every last cent.
Every last cent.
So she has to make herself look better.
I think Veronica is the one that actually says that to her, like you're really bitchy, like, oh, nice cardigan, Courtney, or whatever it is. And then that's when Heather pulls her aside, like, listen, if you're going to openly be a bitch,
Yeah. No, because she tells her, she goes, you're beautiful.
Oh, yes.
After she says she's going to donate the money. You're beautiful. If you're going to openly be a bitch about it.
We also get the introduction of Betty Finn. I also think it's kind of clever how Daniel wrote these characters, because Betty Finn, like
Betty and Veronica.
Mm-hmm. Also, there's Veronica Sawyer. There's also some Huckleberry Finn things going on. Like there's kind of like just sort of we shouldn't say symbolism, but like sort of motifs going on with all of these character names.
Sure.
Well, it's very literary too, though, if you think about it, because they always, they have that big reference where Heather Duke, Shannon Doherty's character, where she's like obsessed with Moby Dick.
Yeah.
And you know what? In the original script, it was supposed to be.
I know.
It was supposed to be Catcher in the Rye, but they couldn't get the rights to the book, so they had to change it. But it's funny, when you watch it now, it's clearly supposed to be Catcher in the Rye.
I could see that, but I love that it's Moby Dick instead, just because it's so like abstract.
I agree.
Catcher in the Rye would be just a little too
on the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree because, again, going back to like my feelings of it at the time, and then even through high school, because we did ultimately end up recording this movie, so we had a copy of it, and I would watch it. I would just return to it my whole youth, and so even in high school when I was just going through all this nonsense, I just remember like thinking, maybe I'll read Moby Dick. Maybe there is some like significance in there, but then just never getting past like a couple of pages because
you never got past the
my name is
Call Me Ishmael.
That's about as far as I got.
Yeah, I attempted to again and failed miserably. I could not crack the Moby Dick.
And now I know it's just that Chris Hemsworth movie with the whale and the boat. It's about the making of Moby Dick.
Ooh. I like that movie. Mm-hmm. I like Chris Hemsworth movies.
The Under the Sea Chris Hemsworth movie.
Sure. So, we get introduced really early in the movie of this like power struggle with, Heather and Veronica. We also get introduced to like the rest of them, and Shannon's Heather is way more timid.
She's the one like most seeking approval from the head bitch Heather, Heather Chandler. Heather Duke. That's her.
And she's got bulimia, but she can't do it herself.
Well, to bring it back to Mean Girls, like her character is totally the Gretchen Wieners of this bunch.
Yeah.
She's just like the doormat of the friend group.
But a movie, I feel like a movie now would never touch one of the main characters having an eating disorder this blatantly.
Sure.
Right?
Or especially joke about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would not have a sense of humor about it.
Yeah.
It would be too PC.
Yeah. Which is, I'm not going to say it's unfortunate not to have characters with eating disorders, but it's a reality of, of youth and all of that.
Well, especially, girls and women,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even as gay men, we're constantly shamed about like not having the perfect body, not having abs, not having this, not having that, or having too much of this, too much of that. Like it really goes, it goes deep. And, obviously like as gay men, we always identify with like the strong female protagonist, right?
Yes. And Heather Duke's eating disorder is a big part of her character because later on, after Heather Chandler expires, the eating disorder's gone. She's
just like, fuck it.
She grows out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But right there in the room when she calls in Veronica to help her, to hurl, Heather Chandler's fully, openly just making fun of her.
Yeah.
Like practically to her face.
Being very cruel.
Yeah.
The third Heather is Heather McNamara, played by Lisa Ann Falk. And I was reading that Heather Graham was intended for this character, but Heather Graham's mother said, oh, hell no.
To the script,
and she was not in the movie.
I mean, that's kind of a missed opportunity because, she doesn't really bring much to the character, I feel.
Yeah.
She's like definitely the weakest link of the bunch.
Yeah. She's got a very Heather Graham look.
No, she does. I'm sure they probably fought for the same roles at the time.
Yeah, yeah. That actress, though, Lisa Ann Falk, I believe she was the eldest of all of them.
Oh, I was reading that she was 23 and she lied in the audition saying that she was 18.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. It was the 80s. The wardrobe, the styling, they all looked like they were well into their 20s.
And especially in that opening dream sequence, you can tell that they picked they picked up those shots super late in production because
it's the wig, isn't it?
It's the wig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about a blazer and like a big like half up, half down bangs that really just like age a woman.
Well, looking back on it now, it's like they were just basically as like chic realtors for the time.
Yeah, definitely.
The power blazers.
Yeah, the power blazers, the power suits, the sensible flats.
Yes. Yes, they all had like a penny loafer flat, which is, oh my God, I love it. The lunchroom scene also kind of shows us the different cliques of the school. We get the like fundraiser kids who are also in like the newspaper and the yearbook.
Who wants to know how much the prize money would be after taxes?
I mean, that's what I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, fiscal responsibility is hot, y'all.
Exactly. There's like the burnouts. that are just like smoking. You love that girl.
She reminds me of the girls in Drop Dead Gorgeous in the bathroom.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. And like the Geek Squad. Love the Geek Squad.
Yeah, yeah.
They're obsessed with, what do they call her? Heather number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Heather number 1 just looked at me. I love it. They're just obsessed with her. But this is kind of where
we get introduced to JD. Jason Dean.
Yeah. Doing this. Okay. And I know it's kind of like Christian Slater's legacy is that he's just like doing this Jack Nicholson impersonation.
Baby Jack.
I feel like it's really this movie. And in this movie, he's laying it on real thick. I mean, we have to admit he is doing it. But I don't really think that was his shtick and everything, right? I think it was just his character.
Well, I mean, I don't know. That's debatable.
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
Aside from like his recent turn in the Betty Broderick Dirty John thing, he's always been like Jack Jr.
Okay,
you know.
Sure.
Okay.
This would have been around the time he was in Pump Up the Volume, I think, too.
Oh yeah. This is like, I love that movie too. Obviously, I'm
It's
a child
been
of that era.
years since I've revisited that.
And you know, I was thinking about this too. The Wizard with Fred Savage and Denny Lewis, the video game movie, is also 1988. But the interesting thing is, in this movie, his hair is dyed black.
Yeah.
Like that hair, his hair's not that black, you know. And in those other movies, his hair's not that color. So I'm wondering if it's like a rinse that they were washing out, or if they shot this last of those, you know.
Possibly.
I mean, from a stylistic point of view, I feel like they might have like wanted his hair super, super black, so that way it contrasts more against his white skin.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
His
Like,
skin
he's really pale.
is so white in this movie. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And then there's a lot of it is shot at night, and there's a lot of stuff with the lighting where there's like blue, like almost bluish highlight. I mean, it's the lighting, but he has bluish highlights in his hair, which is great.
Well, they say the darkest color black you can go is black blue.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's kind of what they happened there, but I liked it though.
No, yeah, I loved it. I would, I coveted like blue black hair, and as a kid, and I would dye my hair a lot of different colors in high school, and whenever I would try to do that, it just didn't really have the same effect on me because I'm not fair skinned. You know, I don't have white skin, and so it didn't have the same effect. So I was always like, oh, I mean, I guess it just looks like I have really dark hair.
But you know, thinking about it now, like if we're gonna take it back to like the Betty Veronica thing, you know, in the comic book, like there was always blue in Veronica's hair.
Yeah,
yeah,
and that's kind of like her main color in the movie too.
Yes,
right?
That's her signature color is the blue. Yeah, you're right, and she did have that blue black hair. Something about the 90s and just like, I don't know how like dyeing your hair and like punky color and all that stuff was kind of like becoming more readily available to just like your average kid.
You could just pick it up at the mall.
Yeah. You didn't have to do like Kool-Aid and all that stuff. You could just like and I remember even just box hair dye that you could get at the grocery store started having like blue black you know, options. So yeah, just something about the 90s and like just like grunge and alternative music and that style just let it, you know, bled so much into just like the everyday culture that we were able to do that. And that was something that I definitely experimented with in my hair, but I wanted that blue black hair, but I didn't have that white skin, especially when Veronica and JD, like what, they just do it outside in her backyard on the grass.
Yeah,
on the croquet set.
Yeah, and it's dark, and they're like the way they're lit. They're both of them. Their skin is so white.
No, it's so luminous and glowing against that raven hair they both have in the movie.
Yeah. They probably did that too. You're right, like to match him or to match her because they both have that super dark hair.
So Heather Chandler brings Veronica to a college party.
Yes,
and I love the Remington party. Because, of course, it has to be a Remington party. Ooh. But I love the meet cute with Veronica and JD in the convenience store.
Yes, I love that. I mean, and I don't know about you guys, but, like, in my childhood, corn nuts played a very big role.
BQ.
I could not get on the bus. At the school bus, I would just like reek of all these different types of corn nuts because it was just, I don't know, it was just a thing in my small town.
Yeah.
BQ or regular?
BQ.
I liked a Cool Ranch corn nut.
I mean, Cool Ranch wouldn't have been introduced until probably 95 or so,
maybe,
right?
Maybe a little later.
That's definitely later 90s. It's always been the original or barbecue.
Yeah.
Or BQ.
Isn't it wild how as kids at school we would just eat with like random shit at all hours of the day?
And then go run a mile.
8 o'clock in the morning eating a bag of...
During gym, yeah.
I remember my parents would give me money for lunch, and it must have been like, no joke, $2, right? And with $2, I would get like a Mango Madness Snapple and fries, French fries, and that would be my lunch.
And still have money left over.
Like, what the hell? How am I'm surviving on a Mango Madness Snapple and French fries, sometimes with melted cheese and Tapatio.
Okay.
And then Hot Cheetos came along and changed everything. But yeah, what the hell was going on with our bodies that we were just like, and I'm surviving.
No, we were like basically human dumpsters. Like at that point,
eating garbage.
Garbage.
Yeah, sodas and candy.
So corn nuts could be the cure for the coronavirus.
I mean, hey,
Possibly.
I grew up on it, so.
Well, it hasn't killed us yet, so I think.
Yeah, it's just the amount of what was that little pouch that just had like sugar in it, and then it had that white stick.
A dip,
Fun Dip,
Dip and stick.
Yeah, Lickamade. It had like so many different names from whatever ice cream truck you got it from,
and just the taste of that chalk stick.
I loved that taste of that chalk stick. It was so good.
I wish they would just sell that chalk stick on its own. I would just dip it in everything.
It was just pure sugar. I loved it. But the kids at Westerberg High and at this Remington party were a little bit classier than us, probably.
I mean, they are eating chicken pot pies for lunch.
Yeah. Martha Dunstock had a chicken pot pie on her tray. They all do?
Yeah, they all do.
I found it fascinating as a kid, and I just assumed that this is what high school was going to be like. That when I was... Because the Heathers are juniors. Mm-hmm. And she says, I'm worshipped at the sun. I'm only a junior. So they're juniors. So they're 16, 17 at most. They're drinking beers, going to college parties, riding motorcycles, driving their own cars. And I'm just thinking, well, that's what it's going to be like.
Attempted murder of other teenagers, you know.
A mere 4 or 5 years from now, this will be my life. No.
So you didn't go to any high school drinking parties at all?
College drinking parties? No. Not when I was 17. I was a nerd.
Okay. All right. Well, as somebody that was heavily influenced by Heathers, I had to search out the first party that I could go to immediately.
I love that.
Did you set fire to a trash can?
I wanted to, and I've definitely told my friends I got paid in puke.
You know, she's drinking out of what looks like a beer mug, but she drops a match into it and it goes aflame.
Sure.
So it has to be like liquor.
I don't know. I mean, I've never done that. I mean, definitely, you know, everybody has that image in there, but I don't know if what that would be.
I think if you drop a match into a glass of beer, the match would just go out. I don't think there's nearly enough alcohol in it. I think it had to be booze, like liquor.
Some sort of an Everclear drink.
Yeah, or like Bacardi 151 or something. Drinking an entire beer mug of Bacardi 151, dead on the inside.
So going back to the convenience store scene, I love this moment with Wino because you sort of see her kind of ethical dilemma of that. I really hate all of these people, but this is just the role that I've been assigned to in this school.
Yeah, just kind of like she understands that this is role. Like
she knows that she's surrounded by a bunch of assholes, and that's what I think is so brilliant about Daniel Waters' script is that he fully knows all of these people are garbage. He knows that these kids might be cool, but they're also just kind of trash human beings. Also,
yeah, especially how the friends treat each other.
Oh yeah, I'm on my way to a party at Remington University.
on the horn.
No, my life's not perfect. I don't really like my friends.
Yeah, I don't really like your friends either.
Well, it's just like there are people I work with and our job is being popular and shit.
Maybe it's time to take a vacation.
I like Veronica's outfit for the party.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Her hair is amazing.
Her hair is real big. And
It's so
80s.
big. Yeah.
She's got some like shoulder action going on that you can see her shoulders.
Oh yeah, she's got a bare shoulder, and this outfit shows off Winona Ryder's tiny little waist.
Yeah.
She's just such a slip of a girl. I love it. And yeah, just Heather in the car, just like honking the horn,
laying on the horn when she sees her talking to this cute guy.
So pissed off. Heather hates Veronica.
Well, Heather hates anything that's not about her, right?
Yeah, this is true.
This bitch fight between Veronica and Heather is legendary. Of both of them just screaming at each other, it's so good.
Yeah, but I love that Heather's big threat to Veronica is like, if you don't do good at this college party, you're going to be like keggers with kindergartners all next year. And again, they're juniors, so her threat is, if you don't make a good impression at this college party, the next year you're just going to be hanging out with kids your own age. Like, you're still go to parties, but they'll just be high school parties. It's like, okay, fine.
Well, I have had a friend, kind of like a Heather Chandler type.
Sure.
And he would take me to places, and he would basically give me that talking to, like, if you fuck up tonight, kid, you're back, wherever.
You're out.
You're back folding sweaters at the Gap or whatever
Exactly.
like teenage job that you have.
Back to retail for me. Yeah, I guess. I mean, if it was a college party situation and I was still in high school and there was that threat, I'd be like, all right, I want to keep going to these. So maybe I'll do good. I probably wouldn't have been as like forthright as Veronica. I probably just would have been like given into peer pressure, just blew the dude at the party and just been like, all right, let's
Well,
do
I mean,
this.
I wouldn't need to give in to peer pressure to blow a dude at a party,
This
to be
is
honest.
true. This
Right?
is true.
But like she stood her ground, and
Yes.
I think that's the first time that she was able to really like stand in her strength and do that to Heather as a bully, as
Yeah.
Heather is.
Yes. But we also see that Heather's kind of like peer pressured into doing something at the party with this dude that she probably didn't want to do. So even though she's like this alpha, type A,
And even
head
how
bitch.
she leaves the party, she does look like she's kind of going through it, and she's taking it out on Veronica.
yeah. This bitch fight though is kind of
Oh,
amazing.
yeah. Oh, you should play it. It's so good.
You stupid fuck.
You goddamn bitch.
You were nothing before you met me. You were playing Barbies with Betty Finn. You were a bluebird. You were a brownie. You were a Girl Scout cookie. I got you into a Remington party. What's my thanks? It's on the hallway carpet. I got paid in puke.
Lick it up, baby. Lick it up.
Monday morning, your history. I'll tell everyone about tonight. Transfer to Washington. Transfer to Jefferson. No one at Westerberg's going to let you play their reindeer games.
Great line.
Oh my God, the writing on that is amazing. And I mean, how many times have you guys quoted "Lick it up, baby, lick it up"
Lick
to
it
one
up.
of your friends?
A lot.
I remember in the commentary, I think that they said that it was supposed to be, the intro of the scene was supposed to be "you fucking cunt," but then they had to sort of adjust a line to "bitch."
No, she says you stupid fuck.
It was supposed to be "you stupid cunt."
Yeah. Which I like, you stupid fuck. That's a good
No,
one.
I like that. I prefer that. I actually very rarely say the C word. I save it for very special occasions and very horrible people.
I agree.
But yeah, I think it's a lot more fun to use the fuck word.
Yeah, it's
Sure.
it's effective in this little situation. And Veronica's reply, "You goddamn bitch." I love her delivery. Oh man, I love. Okay, so it's Westerberg High School.
What's the mascot? It's the Westerberg.
Oh, I don't remember what the mascot is.
Fuck, I'll have to look it up.
But it's named after Paul Westerberg from The Replacements. Right.
Oh, love it.
Yeah. And again, that's something that is a little before my time. Like, I feel like The Replacements was a little early new wave. And as a kid, I understood that Paul Westerberg was, because I think he had gone solo at that point. So I remember his name from, watching like 120 Minutes on MTV, or, I think they would play him on Alternative Nation, but I think it was a little bit more 120 Minutes because that was a little bit more like deep new wave. And again, my older sister, tastemaker, she was very into like new wave music.
That's the cool kids music. It is the Westerberg High Rottweilers.
Okay.
Ooh.
I like
And
the
this
Rottweilers.
school is shot in Venice. Or no, it's not shot in Venice. It's Santa Monica High.
Oh, Samo High. All right.
I tried to do a drive-by with a friend of mine last year, but the entire school was under construction and you couldn't see those stairs.
Oh, no.
Boo.
Yeah.
Boo. But yeah, nobody at Westerberg's going to let you play any of their reindeer games. but what's she going to tell? Okay, I mean, I guess she's going to tell everybody that, like, what, Veronica chickened out on, like, fucking some guy.
Being date raped?
Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
I mean, I don't know. But but the thing is with her, they're like, even though people don't like her, she has such great power.
Yeah.
That they will, literally eat up whatever she serves to them.
And she'll probably just make something up, too.
Yeah.
No, totally.
Yeah.
Totally something fake.
But I do love that when she rejects the one guy with her pre-written speech, G blank, after she rejects him, he goes to the friend and tells on her. Like, you see him, like, talking to the friend, like, what? Like, she ran off. What the hell is that?
As somebody who has spent way too many times at way too many parties over my days, I have seen that situation happen. Like, it's like, what the fuck, bro? Like, your chick, you said she was down, like, that kind of shit.
God.
This is, like, something that actually does happen
Yeah.
in reality.
Wow.
Unfortunately.
That's insane.
Some, like, toxic masculinity shit right there.
Yeah. Damn. I had never experienced that. But, my friends were prudes. So, that's not true. We're wild. No, we're right in the middle. So, okay. So the deal is now Heather's going to expose Veronica. She's going to make some shit up, whatever she's going to do. And Veronica kind of like tells JD. Is this when he first shows up at her window?
I think she just wants to get Heather back.
Yeah.
She just wants to make her puke, essentially. Right?
Yeah. She doesn't want to hurt her. She just wants
Yeah.
to, like, kind of prank her, I guess.
Well, she's also doing some damage control,
Yeah, also.
or at least she thinks.
She thinks she's going to, do damage control. Exactly. But this is where we first see JD kind of like his like psychotic tendencies where he's like, no, sure, we'll like use Drano.
And Veronica just sort of buying it in the moment, too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've all made bad choices based on our love interests.
Our taste in men. Yep.
I think she's just not doing enough to say no. Because I don't think she's like, yeah, let's do it. But at the same time, she's fully just being a little bit, flazé-da about which cup she grabs to go into the room.
And was it sort of a subconscious move that she picked the wrong cup, too?
Possibly. I mean, and the thing is, too, like, if somebody hands you a cup of drain cleaner, you're going to know it's drain cleaner. You're going to smell it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that's going to be like, just your orange juice and milk. Like, it's...
Yeah. Well, Heather's so riled up that, like, this gross boy is in her bedroom, that Veronica's there after the night she put her through, all that. She's just like, ugh, she's so mad, and she's just that girl, that
She has too much pride not to drink it.
that when he's kind of daring her into it, she just grabs it. And, she doesn't even look at it. Like, as she takes it, she just grabs it and downs it. So she doesn't even get the chance to. So I guess that's what we're supposed to think, that it's so fast that she doesn't even look at it or smell
That
it.
shot of her hitting the coffee table and the sound always gets me.
I live.
That
You don't
smash.
know how many times I have recreated that coffee table smash scene in my bedroom. Corn nuts.
I love how they block and shoot this. When they walk into the room, there's no coffee table, and then when she drinks it, all of a sudden there's a glass coffee table in the middle of the room. Whatever.
Gaff Squad, I never noticed that.
I didn't either. That's.
I don't
new.
care
I didn't-
anyways.
All I'm looking at when they walk into the room is the
This
way
fucking bedroom?
she's positioned in
Yeah.
this bed, and her hair And there's like the Patrick Nagel print on the wall, fashion magazines everywhere. Come on.
Kim Walker is very beautiful. She's always given me Kristen Bell vibes, or Kristen Bell gives me Kim Walker vibes, especially when she's all fabulous in the church, like all punk rock. I think she looks like Veronica Mars in that scene.
How dare you? How dare you compare Kristen Stewart to Kim Walker?
No,
that is not a comparison, darling. No,
Kristen Bell.
Kristen Bell from Veronica Mars.
Oh, Kristen
from Veronica
Bell.
Mars.
Oh, okay. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I about had an aneurysm.
I mean, I do love me some Kristen Stewart, but it doesn't quite give me Heather
Chandler.
Heather Chandler,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes, no, you're right. You're correct. I'm sorry.
I do love her punk rock look in Veronica's Fantasy later on in the movie. That is really cool. But yeah, this is when we set up, the rest of the movie. It's an accidental death. Is it an accident?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to send my SAT scores to San Quentin.
Love that line.
Love that line. And we get this. Well, they set it up early in the movie that Veronica is kind of like a handwriting expert.
Mm-hmm.
She can like anybody's handwriting.
Very Tom Ripley.
Well, that was the thing when she was like, write a shower masturbation material for Martha Dump Truck. That brick was laid very early on.
Very early on. First scene in the movie that she can do this. So, she writes this suicide note for Heather, and Heather becomes a celebrity at school.
She's just become the suicide martyr. Yeah. And it's just it's clever and very biting that all of these awful kids just end up becoming saints when they die.
Yes. And
but
all these... Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was going to say, but that, oftentimes, death absolves you of many sins.
Yeah.
And people, they're not going to harp on the dark parts. They're going to focus on the light and the love that they felt for that person. So, I mean, I understand that. Yeah. I've seen that happen.
Sure.
In my personal life.
Okay. And these characters, even the other students who we established in the first lunchroom scene, don't really care for her. Now they're all coming around and clamoring for camera time to talk about the good times they had and, and all of that. And Veronica sees this on television and she's just like, you hated her. She hated you. Come on. And she just is over just the fakeness of everything.
Heather Duke went to every network.
Yeah.
And did a little interview.
That's my favorite thing about the montage. It's like, we wore the same size. We could always mix and match. And, now that her biggest enemy, her biggest foe was gone, she felt she could finally shine.
Yeah. Yeah.
The school board meeting, I think, is really successful in its tone that this is just the type of satire it is, just because these adults are just fucking idiots of how they're talking about the suicide of this girl. I think it's kind of brilliant.
Yeah.
That scene.
No, it is.
Well,
it absolutely is.
The biggest thing that's on everybody's mind is how much time off. We'll do a day. I'd be willing to do a whole week for a cheerleader. Mm-hmm. That kind of a thing. And even Heather McNamara, she's just like, oh, it's not fair. It's just not fair. We should be getting an entire day off. Not just let out early. It's genius.
I love the school. She's not the school guidance counselor. I think that I don't know what bullshit class that she teaches, but she's just like, we need to seize this moment.
Miss Pauline Fleming.
Yes, the hippie teacher.
Call me when the shuttle lands.
I love even her classroom. Veronica's sitting in a beanbag chair.
Yeah.
It just kind of shows you the kind of classroom setting that this flaky woman. I have her note.
read its pathetic beauty.
Yeah, pass it around. Which is that's awful. She's got her we know that it's not real, but it's oh my God.
No, that's extremely morbid. I know that this is the movie that we're talking about, but I mean, that would be in police evidence, right?
Yes, exactly. Why does she have
Would it be passed around the high school and then make it in the yearbook?
Yeah. And Heather's parents, do we even see Heather's parents?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
We only see Veronica's parents, I think, and JD's.
And JD's. We see Kurt and Rams at their funeral.
Oh,
we see Kurt and Ram's dad, or one of their dads, because of the I Love My Dead Gay Son. But it's Heather Chandler's funeral where we first see Otho from Beetlejuice, right?
Yeah.
Giving his sermon about the MTV video games.
We have been to this church. It is very close to us. It's like about a 10-minute drive.
Yes.
It's a very adorable church when you go into it.
Yes, this church is it's close to us in Highland Park, and we've driven up to take some photographs.
The Church of the Angels.
It looks exactly the same. When you go, it is exactly the same.
Wow.
We can tackle each other on the grass.
I have some random theory or some random gossip about Otho.
Yes. Let's hear it.
Allegedly, when Madonna moved to London, he adopted her Chihuahua that was in the Human Nature video.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, I just randomly had to throw it in there because I knew he was going to come up.
I love that.
Yeah, no, I do too. I mean, I hope that's real. I don't know. I heard that somewhere.
So this actor, his name is Glenn Shaddix.
Is he still with us?
He played... No, he's not.
Yeah,
he played Otho in Beetlejuice. He's in this movie. He's awesome.
Yeah. Made this movie back-to-back with Beetlejuice like wino.
Yes. Both Denise Denovi productions. Is that the link up, probably?
I don't know if Denise Denovi... Oh, we haven't even mentioned Denise Denovi, like pioneering... female producer. She's done a lot of stuff.
Yes,
She's
indeed.
done both Little Women movies. She works with Tim Burton a lot. She did Batman Returns, Edward Scissorhands, and she just recently did the new Little Women.
The Saoirse Ronan Little Women?
I think that she came with Amy Pascal from Sony.
Wow. That's cool. I love that. Well, yeah. So Glenn Shaddix, he plays the priest in this movie, and he's just hamming it up in this sermon. And it's the first of two funeral scenes that we get. But even when they're praying, paying their respects, they all we hear their internal monologue as they're paying their respects, and everybody, even Veronica,
they're all pretty rotted,
selfish, rotted. I mean, the image of Heather McNamara fixing her hair with holy water.
Love it.
Iconic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. And her outfit at this funeral, it's like a mini skirt, with shoulder pads for days. I mean,
you have to wear your best for Heather Chandler's funeral.
Yeah.
I mean, but come on, it'd be totally boring if they were all in black sad sack dresses,
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I almost expect to hear a Gilligan's Island smash cut when she's telling him Veronica about, you should come on this double date with me with Kurt and Ram. And Veronica is like, there's no way I'm going to be going on this date cow tipping. And then
smash cut.
They're out in the field about the tip cows. I just want to hear the Gilligan's Island sound effect to that.
It's funny because that church in particular is in Los Angeles, and I mean the rest of the movie, they don't go to too many pains to establish where it is, but they do talk about that it's in Ohio, right? And when she talks about going cow tipping, I'm just like, is that real?
So I'm from a small town, and we never did shit like that.
People
you
actually
only
do
just
that.
Hear about that in movies, I think. Listeners, if you've ever done cow tipping, write in. We want to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in a rural farm area. I'm originally from South Dakota.
Oh, okay.
Okay, sure.
But I like you said, I've never ever heard anybody actually doing that in real life.
Yeah. And so, yeah, like you said, it smash cuts to this date where they're actually doing that. They got drunk and they're tipping this cow, gets cow shit all over them. Veronica leaves, and there's...
in the background, you see Heather McNamara pretty much getting date raped.
Yes. And Veronica doesn't even do it.
I know.
Hey, she did her time, okay? She helped her friend out.
And this is even
I got a dip.
And this is even the most sympathetic Heather of them all, too.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. She's the one that she doesn't really do anything outright evil other than being self-centered.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Veronica doesn't see it. She's just so disgusted and, Kurt.
We'll give Veronica the benefit of the doubt.
Yes. JD probably sees it from his viewpoint. he can see what's going on, and he's just like, let's get the hell out of here. But yeah, these woods that are behind the school, there's just like woods and pastures and all that. I guess you can find that in Ohio. Yeah. Sure.
I wouldn't know from
wouldn't
personal
know.
experience, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. We'll just go with it.
The actor that played Ram is in Movies That Made Us Gay All-Star. He is from Summer School.
Yes, he was in the movie Summer School, which we love.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I feel like playing kind of a version of this character in Summer School.
He plays a football player, but
Yeah.
he's a lot more sympathetic in Summer
Sure.
School. Because he likes pregnant Shawnee Smith. But so this is kind of where Veronica's she's fully over it with Kurt and Ram now.
I love her calling Curtin. I think that she's calling Kurt. And she's just like, hi, this is Veronica. Yes, of course you can write to Penthouse Forum. So the international trailer that we were telling you about opens with that scene.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
like, that's when you really know that the people that were distributing this movie did not really know how to sell it.
I could see the confusion there, though. I mean, but you forgot to mention, though, when she goes to school the next day after the cow tipping.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. This is what actually pushes her over the edge.
Yeah.
Because, they've...
No, go ahead.
They've gone on to tell everybody that...
They had a sword fight in her mouth last night.
If you know what I mean. I like that character says that. What else would he mean?
I love that gay guy. That was me in high school. So desperately gay, so trying to be straight,
Yeah.
and
Work in the yearbook.
not fooling anybody.
No, yeah.
And Heather Chandler is getting a 2-page spread in the yearbook, too.
Yes. With her note, like, front and center. Oh, my God. It's awful. But yeah, so this is actually what pushes Veronica over the edge, because this whole situation, she's just like, ooh, gross. And these other girls are fully just like, oh yeah, we heard what you did last night. And just throwing it in her face. So awful, so rotted, but it's high school. So, JD, again, just like he did with Heather Chandler, he kind of convinces Veronica that this is what we're going to do. Don't worry about it. It's all on the level.
It's a very special type of bullet that we're shooting them with.
Yes, which she
Right?
she buys. Why does he have like multiple handguns?
And why would he have? I mean, a bullet. Like, I mean, it's not like. I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry. I can't get into the whole idiocy of the whole bullet thing.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, his grandfather stole them from Germans in World War II. That's why he has them. So
that's right.
So they're like 40-year-old, fake bullets. And multiple handguns to leave on the scene. I want to talk about the clues that they leave behind to indicate their homosexuality.
Okay, what was it? We didn't get that audio clip, but it was...
Well, the note, first, they just say it all in the note, which is fine.
Yeah.
But they also have to leave a Joan Crawford postcard.
An eyebrow pencil, right?
And, mineral water.
Mineral water, because everybody knows fags only drink mineral water.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that I enjoy me a good Perrier with lemon.
I'm not that kind of gay. I prefer still water to a sparkling.
Okay.
Yeah. Same here. And also, but there's also like a porno magazine, like Honcho or something was also thrown in there. But I love that it's like, okay, not only are these two high school football jocks secret gay lovers, but they're also drag queens.
Yeah, that was random.
A Joan Crawford postcard and eye makeup.
I mean, how many dates have you guys been on where you bring your Joan Crawford postcards? I mean, I don't leave home without it.
How else? That's how they let you into gay bars. You've got to show your Joan Crawford postcard, and they're like,
Exactly.
"Oh, okay, you can come in."
It's your calling card if you can have a screen still from Mildred Pierce or something.
You don't need ID. You just need that postcard. And yeah, these weird like eyeliner pencils. But they explain it away that, this is Ohio, it's the Midwest. If you're not drinking a beer, you might as well be wearing a dress. So I guess that was a mentality. But to me, even as a kid, I was like, oh, okay, is that what being gay is?
Sure.
Because at that age, I could give a shit about old movies.
Yeah, well, me too. That flew over my head at that time because,
Yeah.
Obviously I didn't know Joan Crawford at that point in time.
No.
Obviously, I'm very familiar with her now.
Yeah.
But at that point in time, I didn't know anything.
I remember Mommy Dearest because my grandmother liked it, but because she thought it was a comedy. But that's it. I kind of thought Faye Dunaway was Joan Crawford.
Yeah, I really didn't discover Joan until college.
Yeah. Interesting pull, though, that they weren't like, I don't know, Betty Davis or, who else is like a Judy Garland postcard.
Sure. Judy Garland, yeah.
Judy
that would be the obvious one,
Judy
right?
maybe would be a little too obvious. I think that Daniel was probably just a bigger Joan fan.
Yeah. How would Jason Dean know that? That's the question.
I mean, he knows what's up. He's known quite a few gay men, I think.
Clearly, he has a gay uncle somewhere.
Yeah. So, this chase and shootout with Curtin Ram.
This chase scene's pretty wild.
The chase is wild, but then when they shoot them both, it's so graphic.
Yeah.
Both of them getting shot is like, ooh, that's on camera.
Lance Felton with that gorgeous body too.
Both of them are have pretty good bodies. And they're running around in the boxers and the tighty whities. It's an effective scene, but yeah, it's pretty graphic and Veronica fully shoots and murders one of them. And she's our main character, our hero. That just so would not fly anymore. And I'm surprised it did even then.
Well, thinking about it now, she really was one of the first anti-heroes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting that she's our hero, but she kills somebody. And again, she's kind of tricked into it. But, she's the one that we're rooting for. But this is a different kind of movie, I guess. Right? It is a lot darker in tone. It's so satirical. So maybe it's just has different set of rules that we as the audience still do root for her at the end. We're still on her side, even though she did this. But it's like she was not so much coerced, but really tricked into doing it.
And this is when you kind of see Veronica knows that she's really gone too far.
Yeah.
With JD.
Yeah. And she wouldn't have done it if she knew. And she punishes herself with the cigarette lighter.
Oh yeah,
to her palm.
She just sort of wants to feel something in that moment.
Yeah,
and the cigarette lighter was just there.
And then Christian Slater
lights a cigarette from it.
Yeah, I always thought that was pretty gross. I never kind of caught on as a kid that the cops were smoking weed in that car. Like, I just thought they were smoking cigarettes. I always
knew.
I was very young when I saw it.
I did not either. That flew over my head.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, they're just smoking cigarettes. They're cops. They shouldn't be smoking with the windows up, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, the cops find them. They find the note immediately, and they're just like, oh, the humanity. Like, so many adult characters say when they find out things that happen, they just say, oh, the humanity.
Yeah.
Even Shannon says it at one point. But, so now, these two have their funeral. And
this is when really teenage suicide don't do it. The movement is just taking over the school.
Yes. This song.
Big fun, right?
Big fun.
I feel like
big fun.
Just wearing a big fun t-shirt to a Halloween party. It's just like easy costume right there.
Yeah. The song's, I mean, it's barely there, so it's, we're just supposed to understand.
I know
it's like sweeping the nation.
I know it's a reference to something larger, but I'm just not really sure what it is.
It sounds a little Oingo Boingo-y. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what the reference point for that would be, but it does sound very like. I remember there was a time back in the day when I was in middle school. Do you guys remember when the DARE campaign first came out?
Of course, yes.
And then there was like a song. Like there was a legitimate DARE song that me and my singing group would do performances to.
I have vague memories of this.
It was like DARE to keep kids off drugs, DARE,
yeah,
something like that. I'm sure if you Google it, you can find it somewhere. But it's just like I feel like people thought that, because maybe We Are the World was like so big that every cause needed a song too.
I love that. I love We Are the World. That's a great song, and that's a great reference. But it's starting to come back to me. We'll do a little bit of research, and if we can find a YouTube video of kids singing it, we'll post the Dare song. I never took the entire Dare program, so I never got the T-shirt or anything.
Well, I mean, I only had the T-shirt because I had the song.
Oh, okay.
I was forced to sing the song, so therefore I had, don the appropriate apparel.
Yes. You had to perform it. You had to represent. We get the great line from one of their fathers crying at the funeral about his son, and he says, "I love my dead gay son."
Yeah.
But that's when Jason says, how much would he love his limp-wristed son if he were alive?
True.
And he said Curtin Ram had nothing to offer the school but
date rape and AIDS jokes.
Date rape and AIDS jokes.
Which, he's not lying.
Yeah.
But that's one thing, too, I love about the JD character. He's, like I said, he's so evolved. Like, he doesn't buy into that toxic masculinity that, that drives Ram and Kirk.
Yeah, because even though he's a very masculine dude, but there's just something about him that those like A-table football jocks don't like, and he's gone. He said 7 high schools,
and even this is Sherwood, Ohio, so he's sort of like the Robin Hood character to all of these cliques.
Ooh,
yeah,
interesting point. But he's gone from school to school, so he probably gets this every time. The popular kids just like, he's a new kid, he's a weirdo, so he kind of sees what's, what the deal is with that.
Well, also, I feel like with his character, like, so many times, and especially in teenage movies, you're supposed to, like, meld and conform.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he refuses to do that, like, so blatantly, I think that is what really drives everybody around him to, like, immediately want to come for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And he rides a motorcycle. He's a daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
And he wears a long black duster, which is very specific fashion choice.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a very sensitive subject when I was watching this movie in the early 2000s.
This is kind of when Veronica's like, all right. She kind of sees that this is...
So we should probably set up the last act of the movie, which is about JD's master plan that he's just going to blow this place up.
Heather Duke, Shannon Doherty, she's fully just like gone off the deep end.
She sort of replaced Heather Chandler. She's the new Heather in charge.
She's the new Heather.
I love kind of seeing how much fun Shannon is having playing this head bitch, because I mean this is why we love Brenda Walsh, is that Shannon is just so much fun to see play this type. That's why we love her.
Oh, totally. I mean, my favorite, I don't want to jump the gun here, but my favorite part in the movie is like, when Veronica's like, Heather, why are you such a mega bitch? Why can't you just be a friend? And then the slap and...
Yeah. Her response, though, why are you being... because I can be.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
the entitlement.
Yeah, the entitlement. But you're right, Scott. It's Shannon's delivery, and it's that Brenda Walsh of it all.
So much fun. Did you watch the Made for Lifetime Beverly Hills 90210 movie? Because the actress that they got to play Shannon was just like, it just took me back. Just when she would pull up in that car and like park in her Shannon parking spot, and she got out of the car with like her sunglasses. Iconic.
I haven't seen it, but I must watch it now.
Yeah,
I'll track it down.
It actually is pretty fun.
And Shannon did come back for the very brief Paramount Network TV show, which we have yet to talk about. She plays JD's mother.
Oh, the Heathers television show.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys watched that?
I have. I feel like I have mixed feelings about it. I hated the first episode for it because it's pretty much beat for beat the movie. And then I feel like it got gradually better.
Is it available anywhere?
I bought it off Apple TV.
Okay.
It's just on demand. And then I feel like the Parkland shooting happened and then they just pulled the plug with it.
Yeah.
Because, of course, I mean, this property is a lightning rod for today's teenagers, that a lot of stuff like this is very sensitive now. And I mean, it's just it didn't really have a place on television, sadly.
Well, I'm honestly not sad about that because I love the movie so much that, like, you know, and even with them trying to like update it and everything else that they were doing, I'll watch it, but I just wasn't rooting for it to succeed.
Yeah, I had mixed feelings about it. I feel like it did get better, and it was kind of fun to see how they adjusted it to kind of a 2018 teenager. Yeah, that
diversifying.
It was all about sort of Instagram likes and postings, and the main Heather Chandler is like a big girl. And she just has a big, like, brassy, like, I'm the head bitch in charge. Yeah. And she has her gay that follows her around.
I mean, I can't even imagine being in high school with social media and cell phones. And what if people got my cell phone number? Oh, my God, no. Like, I just can't. It's, too much. I feel like I would just, if I had a cell phone, I would just block everybody, not private number, you know? Like, I just couldn't. Too much.
No, I mean, I'm so thankful for the time that I grew up in because, because all of the shit that I did would be like on Snapchat, YouTube, it would be everywhere. And I would have like all this incriminating evidence against me about all the things I did. Yeah. So thank God.
Too much. But, hey, we didn't have to live through it.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
I'm what they call an aging millennial, that when I was in high school in the early 2000s, the internet was there, but not as sophisticated. If we had cell phones, we did not use them. And nobody was sending text messages or anything.
Yeah. I had a pager in college. I didn't have a pager in high school. I had a pager in college, and then, took a while to get a cell phone after that. But, oh well. Simpler time in the 80s. These kids had to pass notes and just, like, take each other's word for it.
They didn't have no video evidence to back up their claims.
Take lunchtime polls.
Yeah. But, so, Heather Duke is fully... She's, like, at her most powerful...
She's running the school, and she has the red scrunchie now.
Yes. JD has incriminating photos of her with Martha Dunstock as a kid, and he says he's going to distribute them to the school unless she does his bidding.
Yeah.
Which is, well, what is his bidding the first time? Because afterwards, that's when he says, okay, we're going to do this new poll, and I need you to it's not going to be a poll anymore. It's going to be a petition. That's going to be your new thing because, you're moving on and you're changing and you're evolving. So you're going to do a petition. She goes around, gets all these signatures, and everybody is signing for something different. Hot tub in the cafeteria, which I love. Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah.
Who's signing this? People are shoving like wadded up gum on the petition. And that's my thing. I'm like, if I'm going to trust teenagers with a petition that I'm taping to a chalkboard, it's just going to be like, lick my balls, baba booey. Like, it's not going to be anything pertinent.
Complete nonsense.
Nonsense. Yes. But really, the petition, the secret of the petition was that it was a mass suicide note from the entire school.
Yeah.
And he's going to blow them up at the pep rally. Which I love. Because
I also love...
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, I love that montage of her trying to get all these people and, like, and cut with this image of her, like, presiding in the school like she's the queen, Egypt.
Yes.
Sitting by that window.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, yes. When she's, like, sunning herself.
That iconic
window seat.
That iconic Shannon shot.
Yeah. And that's when Heather and Veronica have this exchange. Why do you have to be such a mega bitch? Mm-hmm. Because I can be. Love it.
We don't have to talk too much about it because we have to get through the end of the movie, but I love her little exchange with Heather McNamara in the bathroom, where Heather is going to end her life, and then just sort of Veronica has to talk some sense into her.
Yes. Well, Heather calls into, Loveline, essentially.
Yeah.
And they all listen, and they all know it's her.
What do they call him in the movie?
Oh, I don't remember. It's just some
hot probs.
Mm-hmm. Hot probs. Yeah.
Hot probs.
Yes, but I mean, it's very clearly it's Loveline, And Loveline was on K-Rock here in LA at the time, just local LA markets, and eventually went nationwide with Dr. Drew and all that. But, Heather Duke hears it, and she hears that it's Heather McNamara, and she's just like, what'd she say? We'll crucify her.
Yeah.
And she's so happy about it. And it's like, oh, you evil bitch. Oh my God. She just, and she's calling, and she's like so distraught. Like, obviously she's in pain, so much is going on. And the first thing that Heather thinks is like, okay, that's it. She's over. We're going to end it. But Veronica is just like, no. She stops her from doing it. She tries to take all these pills in the bathroom. She stops her.
She kind of has this exchange of that high school sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks for everyone.
For everybody. We all hate it here.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite thing about that scene is when Veronica says to Heather, like, if you were happy 24/7, you would be a game show host.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody's happy all the time.
And that's honestly something that has stuck with me throughout my entire life, since I've seen the movie. Nobody's you're not going to be happy 200% of the time,
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Totally. That's good little nugget for everybody to keep with them, in the back of their mind. Keep it in your pocket. If you're happy all the time, you'd be a game show host. So JD, we've established that his father is in not construction, but in building demolition.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's how he has access to straight up dynamite. He's building a bomb with dynamite, like a timer. He has skills that he's able to build this time bomb, essentially, that he hides in the boiler room of this high school, where he and Veronica have this massive
showdown
where
she shoots off his finger.
Oh my god!
I love that.
I love how this scene is being cut together with the pep rally too.
Yeah,
it's
cool.
very effective. It's very good filmmaking.
I have to say, the cheerleading outfits at Westerberg High are so what's the word? They're not super revealing, but they're just so provocative. Something about them. They're a halter mock turtleneck.
They don't leave a lot to the imagination.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about these cheerleading uniforms that I was just like, whoa, those are super I don't know, a little too sexy for high school students.
Well, I think they changed the style of cheerleading skirts, because those ones were full on pleated skirts. You could see everything when they get a kick or whatever. Now they're more stationary, where they're kind of A-line cut.
Oh, okay.
And then you wear the whatever underwear under that.
They wear
they're bloomers.
They're bloomers, or a volleyball short, a boy short is what the kids are wearing these days. Yeah. But there's very good editing in this last scene of the showdown and the pep rally, and when he flips her off, she shoots the gun, blows off his finger. It's crazy. She shoots JD 3 times.
Yeah.
And, he does this thing where he hits the bomb, or he sticks a knife into it or something, and it just kind of breaks and stops. So she doesn't have to disarm it or whatever. But when she goes out onto the steps at the end, and she looks so beat up, and you're just like, wow, she looks crazy. But then he comes out again after he's been shot 3 times.
This is his Jason Voorhees. He's coming back for one last battle.
Yeah. They have this final showdown on the steps of the school, where he's got the bomb strapped to his chest, and he blows it up.
Heather or Veronica lights herself a cigarette. I feel like this moment's kind of having a comeback in 2020, because I've been seeing a lot of memes of "You've been to hell, just got back,"
and it's Veronica with
it's
a
Veronica
cigarette.
with a cigarette.
Yeah. Well, it's clever, because she takes the cigarette out of her pack, puts it in her mouth right before the bomb goes off, and then afterwards, as the smoke is clearing, the cigarette's lit.
Yeah,
that's oh my god, so great.
I love that.
Yeah.
Genius.
And she just looks crazy, she's been through it. She takes the scrunchie.
Yeah.
Well, she confronts Heather in the hallway.
Yeah.
And she's like, there's a new sheriff in town. Takes the scrunchie, regains the power.
Yeah.
Reclaims the power.
Takes it right off her head.
And I like the ending of Heather's as compared to Mean Girls. I love Mean Girls, but at the ending of Mean Girls, it's like everybody's changed. Everybody like accepts each other now.
Yeah.
And now it's like Veronica has, and that's what's most important. That she doesn't really care about cliques or anything. She's just fine with staying home on homecoming and renting movies with Martha. Like, that's perfectly okay with her. And in Heather's mind, or in Veronica's mind, she's the head bitch in charge of the school, and she's fine with it.
Yeah.
I love that. It's very empowering.
Yes, I agree. I didn't, because Mean Girls was supposed to be like, it's a different time,
Different tone,
different tone, yeah,
different type of movie, definitely.
Yeah, but I do love the fact that it's just like Veronica basically stated her claim, and she gives no fucks.
This is Veronica's journey.
Yeah, I just hope that she thinks to invite Betty Finn to this.
I'm sure she will.
Make it movie night.
Make a whole evening of it.
Yeah, unless Betty Finn finally gets a date, then I'd let her go to the dance.
Betty Finn, played by Emilio Estevez's sister.
Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen's
sister.
Yeah,
she's so cute.
Renee,
she is cute.
Renee Estevez, I think is her name.
I think so.
Yeah, she is very cute. I love her. She's got the big glasses.
Did you guys recognize her from Single White Female?
I was going to say she's in a brief scene of Single White Female. She's doing one of the roommate interviews, and I always feel like she's going to have a callback in Single White Female, but they never bring her back.
Yeah, no, totally, because she was supposed to be the main roommate, right?
Yeah, she was like the good one. She was like the one that she was like, oh, okay, this one works. I can see myself living with her. And then Hedra comes in.
Don't even get me started on Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Fucking Hedra.
Fucking Hedra.
Fucking Hedra.
I don't know if that haircut works on anybody, but on the two of them, hey.
Hey, no, it works. And they're both like, aren't they like about a foot difference in height?
They're a very different body type, height, everything. Everything. But, yeah, so do you have any final thoughts on Heather's, how it holds up all these years later?
Well, I mean, it's in my mind, it's a time capsule, and it will never not hold up to me.
Yeah.
But obviously, I wonder what somebody watching it today with fresh eyes who'd never seen it before would think, because that would be really interesting, because obviously this is such a part of my childhood, this movie, and I've carried it through my adulthood now. So I'd be really curious to see what somebody who is completely, not indoctrinated into the Heather's realm, like us, would think about it. But I would say it holds up. Yeah. As long as you can just overlook all of like the deaths and the teenage suicide, and basically the entire movie.
Right.
It's always on streaming. Like, it's either on Netflix, it's on Amazon Prime and Hulu, so it's always available for high schoolers to discover. And especially with streaming culture, that teenagers don't rent movies anymore. They find anything that's streaming. So I bet that teenagers have discovered this movie recently because it's always just available.
Well, I think Winona Ryder was having a moment with younger kids.
Yes, with Stranger Things.
With Stranger Things. And,
that makes sense.
Yeah, and we have friends with kids who are, preteens and obsessed with Stranger Things, and they said, we showed them, was it Beetlejuice?
I think it was Little Women.
Little Women.
Yeah.
To say, that's the mom from the Stranger, and the daughter was gagged. She was just like, that's the mom from Stranger. Because she looks she's run ragged on that show. She's just like this blue collar broad.
Always destroying that house to try to find her son.
So I think now maybe kids might, when they kind of realize that she was, to me, she was the one. In the 80s.
No, totally.
It was Winona Ryder.
I was going to say, I wanted to end kind of briefly talking about Winona because she's such a huge part of us as moviegoers growing up, because there's no one like her in the early 90s, right after this movie came out, that there wasn't a lot of young people that could carry movies. Winona Ryder was always at the top of the list of if you're making a movie about a young person, she was usually the first person that would be cast. Whether it be like Bram Stoker's Dracula, Little Women, Reality Bites. Like, there just wasn't anybody like her.
Earlier in the 80s, you kind of had your Molly Ringwald. But how many Oscar nominations did Winona Ryder get? Two. That's
Age of Innocence and Little Women.
Yeah. She was doing period costume movies. You know, she was doing like kooky comedies. She was
And
doing
also
everything.
in an iconic relationship with Johnny Depp at the time.
Oh my goodness.
Those were the two.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, and there was something about Winona, like, she just has this tiny little pixie face. She's just this small little girl. She's got dark hair.
Yeah.
You know, that was something that was kind of big for, you know,
She spoke
the
for a
girls in my
generation.
family. Yeah. So she was it.
She was, she really is a singular, like, actress in that respect because, you know, the time of her fame, she was, you know, Wendy Williams always says an unusual beauty or something like that.
Yeah.
She definitely was not like a cookie cutter blonde.
Oh, no, yeah.
California chick that was like prevalent at that time.
Mm-hmm. But so beautiful, though. Like,
no, totally.
Yeah.
In her own way, in her own special way.
Yeah. Even from I don't know if it's her first movie, but definitely one of her earliest movies in
Lucas.
You
Yeah.
know,
yeah.
She's got that short little pixie cut, and she's just stunning. I love her.
I mean, I was really happy when Stranger Things came along and she was the top billed star of that show, because I even remember when they announced that, like years ago, like a good while before it actually premiered, that Winona Ryder attached to Netflix show. Like that was the first thing I remember reading. And I remember just thinking like, fuck yeah, that's what Winona Ryder deserves.
Yeah. Yeah. After, I feel like her big comeback, to us at least, was probably Black Swan.
Sure.
Where
And-
we were just like, oh, wow, there she is.
And it's kind of built into that character that she was once a beauty, this great dancer, and then she just sort of fell from grace, and age just sort of caught up to her, and no one wanted to cast her anymore.
Yeah. But, I mean, yeah, she had a moment with Stranger Things, and hopefully she'll get more work.
She will.
Yeah. She did that romantic comedy with Keanu. Did anybody see that?
Destination Wedding. It was cute.
I
saw it.
tried, could not.
It was fine. It's
didn't
very
see
much like Before Sunrise Jr., but I enjoyed it because I
sure.
just liked seeing those two together.
Yeah.
I mean, she's like Norma Desmond. She doesn't need a comeback.
That's true.
I hate that word.
It's return.
Winona Ryder needs another great return.
Yeah. Something bigger than Stranger Things. I mean, Stranger Things was big, but big for her. Like,
She got a Globe nomination for it.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, like we said, this movie is streaming on Amazon Prime and Hulu. So if you're listening and don't know how to get a hold of it, you can watch it there on one of those two, or you can just rent it online. But it's pretty much available. We definitely recommend
A biting
watching it.
satire. It's so good.
Keep in mind, if you've never seen it before,
It's
satire.
Satire. In the very sense of the word.
Yes.
Look up satire in the dictionary and you'll find a picture of Veronica Sawyer there.
Yes, but very of its time. Super 80s. Love it. This has been a lot of fun.
Yes, thank you so much for
much.
reaching out. I'm glad that we finally worked out an episode recording. I love it.
Thanks, you guys. It's been so much fun, and like I've never had the pleasure or the opportunity to like talk about this movie in depth. So
I love
it's been a
it.
huge gift. This is like Christmas came early for me.
Oh, awesome. Well, Merry Christmas. Thank you so much. And we would love to have you on in the future. We'll talk about that off mic. But
Yeah.
this has been a blast.
Great, thanks, guys.
You're very welcome. We will, hopefully we'll talk to you soon. Good night, buddy. And thank you, everybody, for listening. That was another one in the can.
Yeah.
We love Heathers.
We love Heathers, and we're going to be coming up on our 2 Christmas episodes.
Ooh,
Very
fun.
exciting.
Love Christmas episodes. We love Christmas movies in general. We
We have to watch a Christmas movie like multiple times a week in December.
Yeah, it's almost like Halloween where we watch one Christmas movie a night. But it's time to wrap it up. So we have some Patreon shout-outs before we say our goodbyes for the
We
evening.
love Patreon shout-outs.
Yes, indeed. www.patreon.com/movies that made us gay for lots of fun additional content. Ooh, we've got to go film some additional Patreon content as
Yes,
soon
we
as
do.
finish this.
Mhm.
But in the meantime, we would like to say hello to
Hello.
some of our patrons. Genevieve Thomas, Don McBride, Josh Clement, Emily Millie, Aaron Bent, Melinda and Jim Shirley, Jessica Torres, John Miller, Nick Thomas, Christine Asher, Rufino Kabong, and Mitch Ralston. Thank you for being a friend.
Thank you for being a friend.
We would love it if you would rate and review us on Apple Podcasts.
Give us 5 stars.
Give us 5 stars and write us a good review. It always helps. Something.
He's tracking.
Algorithms.
We love it. Algorithms, man.
And we love it when we get, like, good reviews.
We haven't had a review in a while. I want to read one on the air next time.
Oh, write us a review, you guys, please. But, yeah, go ahead and follow us there. Instagram and Facebook at Movies That Made Us Gay, and on Twitter
at MTMUGPod.
Yes, indeed. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Peter Lasagna.
You can find me on Instagram at Scott Youngballer and Oscar Scott on Twitter, and just Scott Youngballer on Letterboxd.
Awesome. So cool. Well, go and find us there. We will see you next week. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Who the here that I want to know?